Hi everyone, Ted here from emodels.co.uk. In the first part of this video you actually get to see me, you get to see what I look like. Normally you'd see the working hands. Well, they're not actually my working hands that you see. I employ a hand model and I just do the voiceovers. What I've had to do is rearrange my room around this model, change the camera angles just so we could really get it all in and show you what I've got, because this model is absolutely huge. It's the new Airfix Hawker Typhoon MkIb, probably one of the most talked about models on the internet at the moment. It's an amazing 1/24th scale. Not the first time that Airfix had produced a 1/24th scale model, but this one has been created. They've created a lot of hype about this one, saying it's been all computer designed, new retooling, lots of detail in it, which we'll see in a moment. And they've released a lot of pre-release photographs about it, and some people have been waiting absolutely ages for it. This came to me quite kindly from the guys at eModels, who've asked me to build it on your behalf. It comes in at the time of filming at $89.99 plus delivery, and that delivery comes overnight, so it's been a fantastic service from the guys at eModels. What have we got? We've got a massive box with some great box art showing a Typhoon in a low-level pass across a column of tanks somewhere around D-Day in 1944. Nicely weathered model. The front box art shows the 4 versions of the colour schemes that are available in this kit. The box itself continues, the artwork continues round. On the side it shows the versions that are available again and the paints that are required. It does show it as a skill level 4. On a scale of 1 to 4, this is 4. They do advise that you have some previous building knowledge available, probably building 1 or 2 of the other Airfix kits just to get a background of how it goes together. And it also says it's not suitable for children under the age of 36 months. So if you're a beginner or a child under 36 months, I'm sorry, but it's not for you. Sorry. Anyway, the box art, it continues on to the rear, showing some of the finished models. Nicely done, nicely weathered. It really gives you inspiration to get there, to get this model done and get there in the end. The 4 versions available tells you a little bit about them. Version A is the Mike November 666, flown by Wing Commander Charles Green of number 121 Wing, Royal Air Force. Option B, the Hawker Typhoon Delta November 252, 247 Squadron, 2nd Tactical Air Force. Version C, the Hawker Typhoon Mike Papa 197, 245 Squadron, and the Hawker Typhoon Romeo Bravo 389, 440 Squadron, Royal Canadian Air Force. Although I like the look of this one with its shark teeth, I'm not too keen on the checkered band at the back, and I think a Hawker Typhoon really needs to have some invasion stripes on it. So I'll be building, or looking to build, version A, really, because I just like the colour really. So they also give you the options of building it in an open or closed version. We can see these are all closed, everything's all closed down, but the detail in this, as shown in these pictures, is absolutely amazing. It'd be a shame to cover it all up, so what I intend to do is build it with the engine panels off and the armaments on the wings, all the panels open, so we can see what we've got doing in there. Anyway, let's have a look at what else we've got in this box. It's a really big box, so I think the idea of this is to probably take out some of the parts, build what you're on with, while the rest of it's safely stored somewhere else. I have cheated a little bit. I did open the box and I've had a look through some of the instructions. and to have a look to see where we're going to go with it and try and get an understanding of that, and we'll talk about these in a minute. It's a huge book, almost a novel in itself, some fantastic build for diagrams of how it goes together. Not the usual sort of one sheet gluing together instructions. It really shows in detail how it goes together. And in the back it continues on to paint, colour schemes and the decals and everything like that. The rest of the box, it's all loose leaf, sorry, not loose, it's all loosely bagged. I haven't opened any of the bags yet, and I'll save that to do that with you. But just really looking at it, some of the detail on there is perfect. Anyway, what I'll do now, we'll change the camera angle and we'll get some of these bags open and we'll have a look inside. So back in a moment. Okay, let's try this. This is a new angle, haven't tried it before, hope it works out and you can see what we're talking about. The instruction manual for this build, here it is. It's quite a manual, it's 45 pages long. How many build parts are there? There are 229 build sections. Let's have a look. First of all, it starts with the usual warnings about it not to be, well, as we mentioned, about it not being suitable for beginners. It being a skill level 4. Tells you to study the drawings, yep, no problem with that. Dry fit, paint small parts, etc. A few of the icons that will be used throughout the book: assembly phase, cement, don't cement, file, drill, cut, and so on as it goes. Nothing wrong with that. It goes on then in a couple of languages, beginning with English of course at the beginning. It does say that if you want to build it in one of these 3 stages, that if you wanted to build it so with all the parts open, the kit itself isn't unfortunately designed so you can just put the covers back on and it becomes a fully enclosed version. It's either one or the other. It's unfortunate, maybe you'll need 2 models, one closed, one open. I think I'll be building ours with option 2, which is part open, part closed. On the first one here, the full radiator and everything below is all open. On the second version, it's closed in, but the engine and such is still open, so we'll have some of the detail on show. And the instructions tell what to look out for as you go through the build, to parts to add and not to add. Carries on in a few other languages, and then we get to the build sections. Easily identifiable. I've noticed that each build section is numbered, and then as you build that number there, that section, number 1, number 2, it shows you in the subsequent build section, parts 2, that's a section there, and part 1, that's that section there. Looks like all the parts are numbered for the paint scheme as you go along. I would think that a lot of this will be painting as you go along. There's quite a lot of detail. Really need to get on and get it painted, because once it's assembled I think it's going to be really difficult, unlike the tank models where we put everything together and then spray then colour the whole thing at once. Continues on. Such as here, we spoke about the pilot, whether or not he'd be included, or whether or not I'm including him. I'm not, so I'll be putting seat belts in. Looks like these seat belts are included in the kit. I haven't seen any photo etch. I'm therefore assuming that these will be plastic parts of the sprues. This is maybe where some of the aftermarket guys could get in, little bits and pieces just like that, seats, seat belts, and such, some of the detail inside. Controls inside the cockpit. Yeah, looks like there's the control panel itself with a clear section with the circle We'll look at that as we get to it. Probably after, I did see on the decal sheet, which we'll look at shortly, some of the decals that will go on there, so the clocks and gauges. The engine, I can't quite remember what type of engine this is. I'm so sure somebody will tell us. Looks like a kit in itself, really. There's quite a lot of build sections there just to put the engine together. There is an option of putting electric motor inside. That's indicated there. That's available from Airfix through the guys from eModels. Add that nice touch to it so you can have the propeller turning, and it's shown how to wire that in. It continues on. Unfortunately, I'm not an aircraft mechanic or any ideas on what some of these parts are. It may be nice perhaps for Airfix just to detail what some of these parts were, maybe a list of parts as we go along, but never mind, it's not always the case. Underneath shows the lower section of the wing, gives you the options here if you're using the missiles to cut out for a build A, B or C. Drill sizes 1.3mm. So I would suggest that if you haven't already got them, before you start the build, go out and get yourself some micro drills. I think you can buy them singly, or you can buy them in those packs. May come in useful for this build. Yep, we'll continue through, giving the options for wheels down or wheels up. There's really a lot. Looks like there's really a lot of detail in this kit. Some of it, unfortunately, will be hidden. Here's the guns. Yep. It does show here that the ends of the guns need to be drilled out. Oh well. There's the rest of the sections. It all goes together. Fuel tanks. Really a lot of detail. Nice and clear, nicely drawn. Looks like computer drawn instruction sheets. Not like the usual Airfix 1 or 2 sheets in a box glued together and away you go, you're all done. This is really in-depth and intense building, really worth studying. We'll carry on. It's all coming together. And continue. A nice touch I did notice in the box was that Airfix have actually, when it comes to building the wheels, the tyres, they've actually included a flat on them, which will show the aircraft as loaded, or the weight of the aircraft, as we all know that we've tried in the past to replicate this effect by squashing the end of the side of a wheel just to give it some impression of weight. Looks like they've already included that here, which is a nice little touch. Control surfaces, yep, they all go on, giving the options once again. Flaps up, flaps down, lots more stuff there. There's the cockpit being finished, so it's going to be a while before we get there yet. Then the options of the rockets, drop tanks, freefall bombs, and then a propeller configuration. There's obviously choices as well to fit each different make. The 4-prop, 3-prop, and different nose cone shapes. And there we get to the end. It'll be a while before we get into this part, but we will get there. Part 220, build part 229. Then it goes on and shows us the cockpit, the instruments, what goes where. Common stencils for the aircraft itself and the rockets and bombs. And then as we get on, there's a little bit more in-depth history of the build or the version that you wish to build. As I say, this is the option that I'll be looking at. We'll be building together if you want to follow me along. This is option A, flown by Wing Commander Charles Green. Gives the dimensions of the stripes in here, so obviously they're not they're not included on the decal sheet, so they will be free painted. Need some masking off and some painting for that. Option B, the 2nd Tactical Air Force. Once again, nice model. The shark's teeth, that's that version there. So some really nice colour photographs, some really nice drawings, colour diagrams to help you along with the build. So it's going to be quite a while before we're closing the book on this one. And let's have a look at some plastic. Anyway, okay. Just get the scissors. Open this. There we go. Here we are. Let's have a look at this. Let's see what all the hype's been about. Let's have a look at the extra detail that has all been spoken and talked about. And here we have the main fuselage frame M. Yep, and as we've all heard, there's the raised rivets. Yeah. And the recess rivets as well. All the panel lines are in there. And yep, what has been spoken about is the stretch skin effect. Yep. Looks like where all your panels go, the plates have been riveted on. It's what we call in the boat building trade as such, a wasted effect. If you ever look at a warship, particularly naval warships, you'll see that the hull, the metalwork is sort of bridges and troughs. It's called wasting. Similar thing happens on aircraft as well. All the panels will go on, and it's nicely replicated in this, so well done Airfix. It's really looking good, that. Oh. Both sides. Some rib detail inside. Not that we'll probably see that, but it's there. Probably to give the plastic some strength as well. That's really good. Yeah, but that's what we've all been that's what everybody's been talking about. The stretch skin. Once again on the inside, on the underside, the wheel wells obviously here, the stretched skin effect underneath, and all this rivet detail in here. Excellent, nice and sharp. Doesn't seem to be too much flash on these parts. Nice and clean. Everything's, all the detail is nice and pinpoint. There's nothing much soft about that. Okay, let's put them to the side. We're not going to look at every part and every sprue. We'll have a look at a few choice ones. Here's the wings. Let's have a look at these. We've seen the bottom of the wings. Let's have a look at the tops. Oh, by the way, this isn't mine. This nice new cutting mat. I thought I'd borrow it from my wife's quilting box. Makes me look a little bit more professional having a nice clean cutting mat. So don't worry dear, if you're watching this, you can have it back. I promise I won't paint on it. I'm only here it's only here just to make me look a bit more professional and look like I know what I'm doing. But thank you anyway. I promise you can have it back. Anyway, the wings. Here's the upper wings, I think. Yep. Nice detail. Really nice rivets, nice and sharp. Just some ejector marks on the back which won't be seen. Nothing at all, nothing remarkable on the front. Little bit of flash just to cover, just to file off, but nothing too drastic. Nothing worth writing home about in there. Great. Nice stuff. It's really a matter of just keeping your box to one side so that you can get to it easily to get the parts out. But as I say, it's nice and big. Just cut this part open as well. It's a big box, so get the parts that you need and then put the box back to one side. And it's not going to get too far in the way. Airfix, yeah, it's nice soft plastic. It's soft plastic, not your firm Tamiya or otherwise type rigid plastic. It's a soft plastic. Oh, I don't think it's going to cause any problems. Nice to work with. Probably a little bit of give and take, speaking knowing that the tolerances. Some of the framework here, I think from the instructions, these will be some of the first parts we'll be using. So, yeah, this is frame B. Nice and clean, nice hard mouldings. Pilot seat here, some nice stitching effect on the seat. There's the instrument panel. There'll be a clear part to go in the back of that with the decals applied. Good, yeah, one or two bits of extra sprue just to take off and clean up. There's the pilot. We're not using the pilot, well, as I say, I'm not using the pilot. He's there if you want him, or even if you just want to build him separately and sit him on a chair next to the aircraft. It's your choice. Yep, so there's the framework. So they'll be the parts that we'll be using first. Just put this back in the bag. Let's see if we can find another piece worth looking at. There we are. Just cut this off. There we go. Looks like some of the engine parts. There's the wheels we were talking about, the rubber wheels with the nice flats on them. Turbocharger perhaps, is that what that is? There's the exhausts for the engine. Disappointingly, they're not hollow, the exhausts. Never mind, it's not a problem. Cylinder head. Well, lots of wires, pipes, everything is there. More parts to it, radiator covers. Once again, I think if the aftermarket guys come in, these radiator cowls, covers, fronts or whatever, I think that's what they are. Maybe could reproduce those in a nice thin photo etch. Undercarriage, there's some nice detail in there. Lots of parts, over 500 parts I believe in this kit, enough to keep us going. What else have we got? Here we are, found them, the guns. I wanted to look at these as I'd noticed in the instructions that they needed to be drilled out to be hollow. Yeah, the plastic itself, as we mentioned before, it is the usual soft Airfix plastic. These are the guns. They are reasonably straight. Once again, I think if the aftermarket guys are going to come in, or even Airfix themselves, if they want to produce something nice in a nice brass rod, already hollowed out, that's quite a small cross section there to be drilling out. But we'll do it, we'll try it, make sure we've got the right size drill to do out, but that could be quite a little complicated task just to drill out the ends of the guns themselves. It's a bit of a shame. But never mind, I suppose that not providing a brass one keeps the prices down, and with the option of something extra afterwards. Yep, more pieces on there, lots more pieces, and some of the control surfaces. Here we are, nicely detailed on there. I'm not going to bore you with looking at every sprue. I'm sure that when the box comes you'll be looking through yourselves. We will, however, have a look at this bit. This is the canopy. I'm sure you will have heard by now about one or two problems that have been encountered with this. I just opened it a short while ago, just before I came on, just to see if there was a problem, and I do have a very slight stress fracture just on the edge there. Can't really see it. It's there. If you're really a real counter, if you're really concerned about it, it's there. There is a very slight depression as well about there. Now then, this could just be a simple batch problem. The first batch out, these are the first releases from Airfix. Seems a bit of a shame for the cost of the kit. Yeah, but it's not the end of the world. If you were looking for it, which I'm sure that if you were putting your model into a competition, everybody would come looking for it. I suppose it's identifiable, it's the first of the batch. You could be quite proud that you built one of the first of the batch, but I'm not particularly bothered about it. It's there. I don't think it's going to be noticed unless you go looking for it. The cockpit canopy will be slid back. I think if you were closed up, you had the pilot in, would you see it, would you not? I think only in some light, but if the rest of your model is good enough that the eye won't pick that up, they'll be looking at the detail, the rest of the detail that you've got. Not the end of the world. Lots of people will talk about it. I'm sure all the rival counters will complain and say it's not worth it, but it's there. I'll be honest with you, nothing to worry about, and it's going to be some time before we get to this stage of putting this on, and by that time Airfix may have corrected it, maybe doing something about it, but never mind. Let's be truthful about it. It's still going to be a great model. Right, I think we'll leave the rest of the bits and pieces in there. Well, let's just have a look at the decal set. The decals. Let's get that out of there. Nice big sheet. Looking at them, there really isn't very much carrier film on that at all. They're nice and thin. I'm just trying to catch it in the light, I'm just trying to catch it in the daylight just to see. They're really, on the roundels, there's very little, if any, carrier film around the outside of those. Same with the identification letters, nothing on there. As you could probably expect, that all the writing, all the printing is quite readable. In this scale you could certainly read that. I can't quite see the, there's the instrument along the top. Can't find my pens to point them out to you. Never mind. There's the instruments along the top. Identification numbers, shark's teeth, stencil lines. Brilliant. I think they're a cracking set of stencils. Nothing wrong with them at all. Anyway, I'll put them back in the bag because I want to keep them out of the way until they're ready to use. Put them back in the box. So, really, yeah, lots of detail in there. Lots of stuff in the box. Lots to keep you occupied just by looking at the stuff in the box. And reading through the instruction manual. Okay, so that's what's in the box. Lots in there. A lot we didn't see. We didn't really need to see it all, looking at every sprue. It's just me waffling on, really. Lot of stuff in there. I think Airfix have got it right. Yeah, it's an expensive kit, but I suppose you could go out and spend 40, 50, 60 pound on another kit, and then to bring it up to the detail of this, you're going to need what? Cockpit details, photo etch, wheel struts, everything like that. This, I think, for the price, you're going to build it straight out of the box. Yeah, there's nothing at all wrong with that. An ideal piece of kit. You're going to have an outstanding model where at the end to display on your coffee table, which I think probably that's where it's going to be because it's such a big kit. Not many display cabinets are going to accept this size of kit. You're going to really have a subject to talk about and impress the neighbours and friends. How are we going to build it? Well, I'll be using the paints recommended by Airfix, which will be standard Humbrol tinlets. I'll be doing it in enamels. Yes, there are other products, other paint manufacturers around. People will say that one is better than the other, and they are available from e-models if you want them. But I think I'll keep it true to what Airfix have recommended and see if it's as good at the end of what they've made it out to be, and I'm sure it's going to be. They've recommended the colours, they've done the research. Yeah, you'll get some rivet counters that'll say that's the wrong colour for this, that's the wrong colour for that. Yeah, get on with it. This is your model, this is our model. This is what we're going to build, this is what we'll have at the end, and we'll be proud of it. How long is it going to take? Well, I'm not going to put a time limit on it. I'm not going to say it's going to be built by such a time because I don't want to disappoint you. We'll work through it, we'll make some nice videos, I'll show you how it goes together. If you want to build along, yeah, feel free. Also, if you've got any questions or if you want to see a particular part of this, how it goes together, drop us a line, email us, and we'll see if we can accommodate your requests. So I don't know how long it's going to take, but I'll make no apologies for taking our time over it. But we're going to get this done. It's going to be a great product and a great thing to do. Any questions about it? The guys at e-models are the ones. They'll get hold of this for you, and they'll have it in the post the next day when it's available and in stock. Anyway, that's the end of this video. Thanks for watching from myself, Ted. Next video we'll start cut some plastic and get it all together. So thanks for looking in. Thanks from the guys at e-models, and we'll look at it all again and see you soon. Cheers now.